to the government if they really are serious about a digital economy, Pakistan, or digital Pakistan slogans, then this is something that they very seriously will have to consider, because the local impact is going to be adverse.
I understand security implications. I don't understand why the power has to be so broadly given to almost all public entities, number one.
Bill. Consultations will present this bill in August. Now, there have been various issues with the bill that have been pointed out by industry and civil society. Can you first give us a quick synopsis, or just what happened during the consultation? What kinds of issues were raised?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Fareiha. Essentially, what the consultation was for was to see how the businesses, civil society, wherever they allotted enough time, like actually went way over time, to listen to everyone and for everyone to get their comments across. Currently, just completely anecdotally, what's coming out is that they are not going to implement all the changes, or all the proposals, or all the concerns that were highlighted are not going to be addressed. However, that's something completely anecdotal, and it's not something I can confirm. But the kind of issues that were highlighted do merit serious concern. And I feel that if the bill is passed in a way that is not acceptable, or that hampers business interests, or seriously affects anyone's ability to operate in the digital space in Pakistan, I think we'll be going 2 steps back.
Industry groups as well. What are specific industry concerns regarding the bill that were brought?
I think a few things, right? So one of the bigger issues is requiring the opening of an office, etc., for certain bigger global companies, which may make it impossible for them to comply with, and may make them restrict their services within Pakistan. Other than that, there's also on usage of cloud. For smaller businesses that are operating in the digital realm, it may not be something that's conducive, or something that can help them. Because what we need to understand is that cloud services are generally very expensive, right? The infrastructure is very expensive to build as well. Pakistani cloud services or local cloud services are significantly more expensive than, say, Amazon, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. In a lot of cases, for like majority of the cases for small businesses, Azure, which is Microsoft, Amazon, AWS, and Google Cloud, etc., are willing to offer free credits. If you're going to now require people to store, or businesses to store certain data, and in some cases it seemed that the language was very broad and not targeted towards a certain situation. That was a big issue, and that is going to restrict new online or digital businesses from coming up. So there are some onerous requirements. Then there were some requirements where you have, like the drafting was not clear. It could lead to several interpretations of the same thing, which I would say is a problem with most draft laws, and this is something that can get refined. Other than that, for me personally, I think one big issue is this is not having a clear definition or more in-depth analysis of what informed consent is. A lot of the data protection regulation typically just allows companies to utilize, collect, or use your data if there's consent by the person providing the data. Given where we are in Pakistan, and if something is like, normal people don't read privacy policies on websites they go to. They don't read the terms and conditions of the websites they go to. It is not possible. But if you are going to take, what's important to understand is that if a company is going to take my data or your data, it has to have, number one, informed consent, and it has to use it specifically for the purpose that it obtained that data. So if I'm helping you open a bank account, I need to have your CNIC. It is only to help open the bank account. It is not, say, tomorrow to qualify you for a car loan or something else. So we still have a lot of work to do on that front, but that's something that we can build on. Right now, we don't have any data protection regulation in place.
So you mentioned that the requirements, and these have been pointed out as the cross-border data flow restrictions, and also data localization and up in offices. There seems to be this push towards platform migration in a sense right now, and whether it's with the cloud services for the moment, and already businesses are set up, local businesses are set up. Could you comment perhaps on how difficult or onerous it can be if you have to just move to another service when you're already set up and you have a footprint?
It's extremely difficult, right? Especially if you're a smaller business, like it will cost you a lot of time and a lot of money to be able to, because your company's infrastructure, your application's infrastructure is built on a certain cloud service. For you to migrate even between, say, Google and Amazon, that's a lot of process. That's a lot of work. That's a cost as well. To migrate to a Pakistani one and then to adapt to the Pakistani cloud services cost is going to be, there's a significant difference. So it's multiples of a difference. So it is not something that, number one, is helping us protect anyone. Let's be honest, because, for example, if my, say, service provider who holds my data on a Pakistani cloud, when they communicate with me, they still send it via email. Which is not Pakistani cloud, right? My Gmail address. So, for example, banks in Pakistan are required to keep all customer data locally in a local cloud in Pakistan. But when they send me my bank statement every month, it comes into my Gmail, which is not on a local cloud. It can't be. So we're not actively really protecting anyone's personal data in that sense. However, I do understand the concern that you do need localized backups for certain critical infrastructure stuff because you never know what happens later. But still, it should, backup is something different as opposed to requiring your entire operations to be on a certain cloud.
So sure, localization of data makes sense from a public sector point of view, right? That in data security and you want government infrastructure, but to then also require the private sector and all citizens to do the same, that really is a question mark, right? And that raises questions about data security and integrity of citizens and private businesses and the access, because access is also facilitated, right, through this bill. Can you speak just about that also in terms of facilitating data access to the government through a commission that obviously is going to be appointed by the government?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for reminding me of that issue. There's this clear blanket clause which allows the government, and the government is very broadly defined. It could even go all down to like the definition, and even includes the local city council. So any of them can request the commission for any data that they feel is in, say, either the national interest or something that they deem is important, and that company will have to share it. Now, I mean, I understand security implications. I don't understand why the power has to be so broadly given to almost all public entities, number one. Number two, what we're failing to realize is that when we put these kind of clauses in Pakistan's data protection laws, we make it almost impossible for foreign companies to come in. Because, for example, if you are a company that is managing, so it's based on in Europe, right? GDPR, their data protection regime is applicable on you. And if you if you are not compliant with GDPR, you can get severe penalties, and they can shut your business down even. If that company opens an office in Pakistan and gets a request from the government or anybody to share data that they have, they would be in contravention of GDPR. Similarly, if Pakistani company is also subject to GDPR regulation, it won't happen. Similarly, if a foreign customer, so we do a lot of Pakistan's IT exports is essentially providing services from Pakistan to customers abroad, right? So if a foreign customer has operations in Pakistan, either the team is in Pakistan or has given, say, a contract to a Pakistani IT export services company to be able to, say, process some data or say, make an application, they will not be able to send that data to Pakistan. So Pakistani IT companies will lose business, Pakistan will lose investment in this realm, and Pakistan's digital realm will be clearly in contravention with the most, like the gold standard of, say, data protection regulation, which would be GDPR.
So last question, assuming that the legislation goes through as is, which is very likely, what impact do you think this is going to have on the digital economy and digital market of Pakistan as it stands right now?
I think it'd be mass confusion, and I think it will lead to a significant loss of confidence in Pakistan as a safe enough market for global digital businesses to operate in. We will also see a significant non-compliance because, especially the local businesses, a lot of the terms or provisions in there will be very hard to even track, right? So we will see serious non-compliance by the people who can get away with non-compliance. But as far as the global businesses are concerned, especially the ones in operating in digital realm, they can't get away with non-compliance, and they will just like stop operating in Pakistan or stop offering services to Pakistanis. So I see a significant adverse impact on the digital industry in Pakistan.
Thanks, Mubaraiz, for your views on this. And to the government, if they really are serious about a digital economy, Pakistan, or digital Pakistan slogans, then this is something that they very seriously will have to consider, because the local impact is going to be adverse and is going to stifle whatever progress that has been made. Thank you.